Welcome class, this is a tutorial for assignment 2 in the data mining class. There's 4 parts to it, and we'll break each one down one at a time. So let's take a look at the first part here, the initial tree. This part of the project will allow you to predict a class fault prone or not fault prone using the J48 decision tree based algorithm. You're going to build a model using that J48 using the fit data test set for tenfold validation. Also, you'll see here in the last part of this, repeat the previous task using the test data. So you'll use both. So you'll do the same thing for test data as you will for the fit data. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Determine the misclassification error rates for both misclassifications. Remember, false positive and false negative from the confusion matrix, and we can't get that information until we do our run. Type 1, a non-fault prone module is classified as fault prone, okay, and type 2 is a fault prone module is classified as non-fault prone. In the case of a type 2 error, if we were talking about in a network intrusion detection systems, that would be like saying that there was a malicious software or some kind of malicious activity in the network, and we thought it was fine, so we classified it as non-fault prone, but we were wrong because it was a fault prone module. So it's like missing some kind of malicious activity in a network. Then the other part of this is recording the number of leaves and nodes in the tree. We'll do that by visualizing our tree, and again repeat the previous task using the test data set. So I'm just going to go through and looking at a partial capture of what I have for the fit data test. I don't have the whole thing because those are numbers that you're going to do, and so if you see my numbers off a little bit, it's because I just took a sampling of that fit data set. I didn't want to do the whole thing. That would be in your assignment for you to do. Okay, so let's go ahead here. So we're going to build a tree using J48. So I have Weka already up for us, and I'm going to go to Explore, open file, and we'll go ahead and find our fit data. Okay, lab demo. Now I want you to notice the good part about this is you've already created your R files from assignment 1, and what I do is if I have data that's not been classified yet, remember we had to change our values in that last column to either NFP or FP. We're just going to be dealing with that. That would be, I just name mine fit nominal for that. That way I know, as I'll open it up here for you just to see, that way I'm able to take this. Now if I looked at that file from a point of view of just the text file itself, and I looked at nominal, okay, you can see I got my NFP, FP, NFP all the way down. It's not the one here where I've got just values, but you've already done that at assignment 1. So what I'm saying to you is, in this assignment here, all you'll be dealing with is your fit nominal R file and your test nominal R file, the ones with the classifier in it, NFP and FP. Okay, so let's drop that back down and open up Weka. So it took, that's fine, it should, because you, like I said, you've ran this through in assignment 1. Now we want J48, so we're going to go up here to this button. J48 is a tree algorithm, so we'll click the plus sign here, and there's J48. By default, we're always using 10 anyway, and I say that in the instructions, so you really don't have to change a thing there. It's all set for you. And then we'll go ahead and start. Okay, so it ran the algorithm for us, it gave us the results, and what I need you to do is to take from here down and copy it. And remember, we do the old Control C to copy it, because you can't right click and copy and then paste. It won't do that. And I'm just going to go ahead and open up Word here for a second and Control V it back in there. And of course, you close up your spacing. You're probably going to shrink it down on font size and so forth, so that what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting together something like this. Now, here's that copy and paste from the fit data. For the second step, there's test data over here. So I just put that information in there, and you have all that information here that you're going to need. Okay? And then you're going to take a screenshot of the tree. That's the second step. So let's bounce back to Weka. And so to do that, I right-click and I say Visualize Tree. Go ahead and maximize it out. And right here I say Fit to Screen. And right here now, whether you do the print screen or one of my favorite tools, the old Snap tool here, I can do New. And let me just drag this down here. And of course, wherever I hold down my plus sign on, that'll give me a copy of that tree. Okay, and then I just save this in some place. Tree, and wherever you want to save it, that's fine. You save it. But this, after you get it, this is what you'll be coming back to your assignment sheet for and copying in. Again, the what's nice to do is just start out when you start your assignment out and start laying it out. Just go ahead and insert a table. So basically we're talking about I need the information from the run and I need a screenshot of the tree. So just start out part 1. This is part 1 now. Just do a 4x4 and you see here your results will be in here for fit, for test, screenshot of the tree for fit, screenshot for test. Now as you see part of that, now there's a couple of questions I have in the assignment. It's going to ask you what's the number of leaves, how much was correctly classified. It's also going to ask you about this fault prone and non-fault prone, and you're going to have to tell me what the results are for that. Okay, so let's pop back to the assignment. So we built a model using J48 tenfold. What are the misclassification rates and error rates in it? Type 1 and type 2. Record the number of leaves in the tree. Okay, so if we go back up here and look at Weka, and here's our confusion matrix right here. Okay, and you can see that here's my false negative 10, here's my false positive 19. But I'm looking for the rates. Here are the rates up here. Okay? False negative and false positive rate. How do you get these numbers? Well, it's a little division going on here. In your book, you have the example for false positive rate and false negative rate, and that's something that you need to know how to evaluate. So you got to tell me what's the false positive and what's the false negative rate on these numbers here and here, and what they represent. Okay. Number of leaves you see here, 10, 19. So after you've copy and pasted the very last thing, and I'm not gonna like I said, my numbers are off from yours, so don't worry about trying to copy these numbers. They're going to be different than yours. You're going to say true positive rate equals that, true negative rate, false positive, false negative rate, so forth. Type 1 errors, 11 and 2 in this particular one. Okay, 11 and 12 I mean. And type 1 and type 2 errors here. If you want to highlight, you can write down if you want to some of the information. Type it down below here, like the number of leaves were 10, the size of the tree was 19, so forth and so forth if they're different. Okay, and that would basically complete what you would have to do for part 1 of the assignment. Okay, part 2 of the assignment is unprune tree. Now in the J48's option, set unprune option to true. Rebuild it in the same way. So you're going to be doing the same thing, except you're going to make a little change to this. And that change, you're going to want to see how it affects the numbers. So again, you would for part 2, go ahead and do a 4x4 table in Word, whatever document you're using, and you're going to start filling in some information again. So let's go back into Weka. Right now, by default, you have a unpruned tree. You see, a pruned tree. It's been pruned. It says that in the example that you run. So you know you've done it right. If all you got to do is look right here, and I'll tell you. By default, this is what it's set at. But we want to change that. So what we do is we click up into here into the little space, and if we go down here, we're going to see unpruned. So it's like saying to you, this is an unpruned tree. No, that's false. It's a pruned tree. So if I change that to a true, now it says unpruned tree. Yes, true. This will be an unpruned tree, and you click OK. Okay. So all you do is just hit your run again, and now you see, if we go up here, it's an unpruned tree. So again, just copy and paste your information down. Note the same thing that you noted before in step 1 of this assignment, except the only difference is in this one, you're doing an unpruned tree. Again, visualize your tree, fit the screen, just compare and tell me if there's any difference between the two, and that'll take care of that. And just to reemphasize again, right now all I've been doing is the test data, a sampling of the test data set, fit data set, I'm sorry, of the fit data set. But after I do this in the assignment, you'll have to do the same thing with the test data set. Okay, so that basically would be number 2. Right? So let's take a look.